What is up, YouTube? Welcome to PanFro Games. In today's video, we got even more leaks to talk about, but today we're gonna be focusing on the Generation 5 Game Freak Giga leaks, and we're gonna be talking about the beta sprites. We have 2 Pokemon that you've never seen before, and honestly, this is really cool historical stuff just to be able to realize and see where Game Freak was at the time. And of course, guys, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe if you're new. I really appreciate it. Consider supporting the channel by joining the Pan Fam by hitting that join channel member button below. So we're going to start it off immediately. There is a new scrapped Pokemon called Go-Rock. Now, this Pokemon, we don't know its typing. I assume it's going to be a rock type, maybe a rock dragon. But this thing looks fire. This thing looks really sick. And honestly, it has some vibes of like Caliber to it, and I think this thing is really cool. I would love to see this Pokemon become a real thing. We actually have the back sprite for it as well. Sort of looks like Typhlosion from the back. People were originally thinking it's like a fire type Typhlosion, but no, this is actually a different Pokemon named Go-Rock. Now we have another new Pokemon that was just recently revealed too, and the scrapped Pokemon for Generation 5 was, I'm gonna definitely mess up saying this, Awa Nezumi, which is a bubble rat. So this might have been either the Pikachu clone of the generation or the mythical Pokemon of Generation 5, like a beta mythical Pokemon. And this thing is hella cute. I mean, it looks like Mew with bubbles. This thing is cute. I feel like this is gonna become everyone's Discord profile picture. This thing is absolutely adorable. I love this thing. I honestly, maybe I'll sell a t-shirt with this thing on it, because this thing is lovely. Now, there's not only just sprite work here, but we did get something rather interesting, and we're gonna actually play this. But we got the official opening of the extended opening of Pokemon Black and White's intro, with all the art, nothing cut out, the full intro. First time we ever get to see it. And you know, look at that. Look at that. This is what we could have had this entire time in Pokemon Black and White. But nope, they cut it out. You can see the unfinished panels on it. But this looks pretty sick. And I would love if they did a remake of Black and White and Black and White 2, that they would actually do the full intro. That would be pretty sick in general. Now, going a little bit to Heart Gold and Sword Silver, the type of beta art we're looking at is literally this type of art. It is like MS Paint, hand-drawn stuff, like something I would have done, but this is what concept art eventually is when you're just drafting up something. You know, you just put up a lot of things on a piece of paper, you hope it sticks, and then, you know, designers from that point make it look into actually something pretty and usable for the video game. So it's time for the beta sprites of Generation 5 Black and White, and our very first look at Zorua and Zoroark. Honestly, they look mostly the same. The only difference is they don't have that yellow to them, which I think is pretty neat. Beta, Dino, Zwelos, and Hydreigon. I mean, let's be real, this actually does really look like Dino, because there's not a lot going on. In Zwelos, it's like, oh, now it has 2 heads, and then Hydreigon, it has 3. So, you know, I mean, a little bit different. The colors are obviously very different on it, but this is pretty funny stuff, honestly. I mean, if you watch my Generation 3 video, like, that sprite work was really nice for the beta, but you can see this is very MS Paint-like and very funny. Beta Emolga is literally just like, we're gonna make Pikachu, but he's flying. That's it. And I sort of love it. This designer is like, hey, Pikachu, give him some little flaps. Give him some sugar glider flaps. That's it. Now we got Beta Victini. Honestly, Beta Victini, this is the shiny color of it. And so its shiny color actually ended up being the original color of it, which is pretty interesting. And then we got, you know, the Beta Genesect. I actually think Genesect in the blue looks really sick. I think this is, I mean, I think they actually nailed it. I think this looks really sick. I would prefer this version of it. And then we get Beta Scraggy. He's still holding up his pants, but he's a little bit less designed overall in general. We get, you know, Baratic here and Cubchoo. Cubchoo, honestly, they're pretty much the exact same. The big difference is literally they're just the wrong color for the most part. But I actually like this more polar bear color to them than the blue that we got. Beta Shelmet, this looks like a Dragon Quest monster to me. This looks very funny, or like maybe an SMT monster too. Beta Liepard, sort of has the Litten color scheme to it. So, I mean, I don't know. We don't know what Purloin looks like. Maybe it just never existed. This might have just been a single form Pokemon back in the concept phase. But this is very Litten Torracat coded for sure. What happened to Stunfisk? My man literally looks like Dory from Finding Nemo. Like, what is happening here? I don't know why he's blue, especially because he was a mudfish, but sure, you know what? I mean, I'm glad they changed it, but this is hilarious. Beta Seismitoad, he is looking really nasty and grungy. I mean, he does look more toad-like than the Seismitoad we actually got, so I do understand the concept behind this art here too. Now we got Beta Servine and Superior. Servine looks exactly the same. Superior looks very similar. The colors are a little bit different, but they pretty much nailed it from the beta stage here. And then we got Beta Tedpig, Pignite, and Emboar. So honestly, Tedpig, Pignite, and Emboar all look exactly how they're supposed to be. Unfortunately, we don't have anything for Oshawott, which is very disappointing because that is my favorite of the three. Beta Reshiram and Beta Zekrom. Now, they look very similar design-wise, but obviously they don't have like all this red on them or all this green stuff. You know, this is very reminiscent to me of like Kyogre and Groudon and how they had like those like lines are going through them, like the energy lines. But you know, they made it like a bit more simplified, but much more distinguished in the final copy of these two. But I think they're actually really sweet looking in general. Now we got Beta Virizion, Terrakion, and Cambalion. Is this in order? Oh my god, this is Virizion. Dude, Virizion, like, this sort of does not, I mean, it looks like it, but it also doesn't look like it at all. For some reason, I thought this looked more like a little bit more Cambalion-ish. I don't know why. I don't know. It doesn't look, it looks like a weird, I can see how this becomes Virizion, but it also looks a little bit weird to me. Terrakion looks hilarious. Like, I see where they got it from. It's very bull-like, but at the same time, I sort of like this version than what we actually got. And then Cambalion, this is like the most like, okay, it's just gonna be like a four-legged mammal, but like we're gonna put like little lightning things on its head, and that's about it. I think that's hilarious. So Beta Thundurus and Beta Tornadus. So they were literally the exact same. Like essentially the exact same, but like different colors to them. Now, something that's really interesting is they do have elements of Enamorus on their head. So, like, you can sort of see where Enamorus came from the original beta work here, which is pretty interesting. And we do know that Landorus was made after both of these as well. And I can also see, you know, obviously where Landorus would come in from, especially because the cloud is, like, sandy. That makes a lot of sense that they would break them up a bit, too. So, we got Beta Dwebble and Crustle. Dwebble looks very similar. Crustle looks pretty similar too, honestly. He's like definitely more realistic of like a coconut crab, which I think is cool. Beta Carablast, and then Carablast is evolution that is not a Selgor. One, I actually think Carablast looks pretty cool. I think he looks really cool in this. I think he's a lot better than his final form. And okay, to be fair, I don't know what happened here. I mean, clearly they did not do the cross evolution with the Shelmet thing here, but this is pretty funny to me. I'm sort of glad this thing does not exist and can't hurt me. Now, Beta Seismitoad, once again, another great icon for someone's Discord profile picture, because this thing is hilarious. I genuinely love it. This is awesome. He's fat. He's a fat, lazy monkey. I think this is awesome. I love it. Then we get Beta Simipour, which looks very similar to the final concept, even in like the art, like just how it's standing in general too. Beta Basculin ends up being a flying fish. Then like it's a flying fish and a piranha, because you can see like the same jaw is more like very piranha-like. But going with the flying fish is actually really sick. So I'm definitely about that. That is very cool indeed. Then we get Beta Archeops. Looks exactly the same for the most part. Honestly, Archeops does a good design in general. And the last piece of art for Generation 5 we have is Tortuga, which, I mean, the colors are definitely a little bit different for sure. And we got Caracosta, which I think the Caracosta back is actually way cooler. I think this Caracosta is a bit cooler than what we got in the final concept of the Pokemon Black and White. But there we have it, guys. That is all of the Pokemon Black and White information that we got from this. I think this is really cool history, and I think it's just really cool that this is how they make these Pokemon designs. Like, It sort of looks like these little sketches that maybe someone made in like an MS Paint. Obviously, they use like a better program, but I just think it's a really neat way to see how the sauce is made for the for the series that we actually love. But of course, guys, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe if you're new. Really appreciate it. We're gonna be covering all the leaks that come from this in general. Anything that I think is remotely interesting, we're gonna cover it. So anyways, I'll see you next time. Peace out.